Good morning, it's your daily dose of complete health with your local chiropractor, Patrick Hogg. And I wanted to discuss something that I ended up having a conversation with a client the other week. And I actually tell this story occasionally when I feel like it's completely necessary. And it's been interesting because this week we've had a couple of people where their problem has been so black and white that they've needed to take action there and then, that it would be crazy not to do anything about it. Yet that person doesn't want to help themselves. Now, it's really interesting when you have someone come and seek help from you, and they're sat in front of you, and they've come in with a specific problem, and they've been told that this is the direction that they need to go by their friends, their family, and they end up in your office with whatever problem it is in front of them. And they know that they're in the right place, and you can put all the information and evidence in front of them that there is a problem there, and they don't do anything about it. It's a little bit like that person that sits in a relationship that's not really going well because the idea of leaving the relationship is more painful. The idea of having to go and find their own place and pay their own bills and da-da-da. So they end up staying in a relationship that they're not necessarily happy in, despite the fact that everyone around them is telling them that that is taking place. In the same sense that people will stay in a job that they don't necessarily enjoy because taking a pay cut to retrain to do something they love is more painful than sitting in the job that they're currently earning a decent salary in. In the same way that many clients will come in with a pain or problem, but the idea of parting with cash or giving up something else in their life is more painful than the idea of actually fixing the problem. Now, we always have to have some pain or discomfort in a situation to make us take action. Now, interestingly enough, Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. And if people don't know who Tony Robbins is, I would seriously suggest trying to find some of his information because the guy is incredible, has helped millions of people across the planet. But he says that in order for us to take action, the pain has got to be great enough. Now, there's a really interesting story about a man who walks past a house each day. He walks past the house each day, and every day that he's walking past his house, he realizes that there's a dog howling. And when he sees this dog howling, he continues to keep walking past, and he hears it day in, day out. And one day he says to himself, if I walk past that house again and the dog is still howling, I'm going to knock on the door and see why. And again, he walks past the next day and the dog is still howling. So he knocks on the door and he asks the owner why the dog is howling. And the owner lets this man in and says, look, I'll show you the dog. And this guy thinks it's a bit weird, but he wants to work out why this dog is howling. So because he's been walking past so much and this dog has been continuously howling, he does accept the offer to go in because then he thinks he can phone the local authorities if he can see this guy is torturing his dog. So he walks in the house and he sees this dog sitting in the kitchen. And this dog is whimpering in the kitchen in the corner. And the guy says to the owner, he's like, why is your dog sitting in the corner howling? And he says, well, he's sitting on a nail. To which the person says, well, why is he sitting on a nail? And the owner says, well, I don't really know, but I guess it's not hurting him enough yet. And ironically, we've all been in one of these, and I know personally I've been in one of these situations where I've stayed in relationships or been with people or I've had friends that are not good for me, and I've stayed in those relationships. Why? Because the idea of having no friends or having no social life or having no partner or being in situations which are uncomfortable seemed greater than the idea of taking action. And ironically, I had to explain this to a patient the other day because they couldn't understand why people wouldn't want to help themselves. And this is exactly what the story was that I told them, is that the pain has got to be great enough before someone is willing to take action. Because we all know someone that's not doing something that's good for themselves, but it hasn't created enough of a problem in their life for them to really think about it and actually change it. This is your daily dose. This is Patrick from Complete Health, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Take care for now.